What's up, everybody?
I think we're gonna be live. Yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
live.
good to go.
I think we're live. I don't know if we are.
Yeah, yeah, we are. Last one before 2026.
Yep.
And we kind of wanted to talk about, goal setting,
Yeah.
getting ready to go into 2026 with a clear vision. And we'll kind of start breaking down like how we did 2025, and we'll just roll into it this way.
Yep. Year of the horse, guys. If you're in the Chinese zodiacs, like we Asians are. My 2025 was very interesting. It well, you and I discussed like prior to the show, reflecting on our 2025 and see what we missed and what we actually achieved. And let me see here. Just give my phone here because I write down my. I don't know if you guys do this. If you guys should probably start doing this. If you guys are listening to this call, if you guys should probably post. I've learned this like a while back from other mentors. Like they post their goals that they see or a vision board or whatever on their phone, and they look at it every single time to remind themselves to achieve what they are planning out the year for. And so I'll kind of list out my goals here that I set for 2025, and you can just kind of go after me, Tim. But like, I was trying to make $15,000 in net in coaching, which I think we achieved towards the later end of the year. And then do at least 10 flips, which I did not achieve because I had to go through some other turmoil partnerships that debunked and derailed that situation. Acquire one commercial property, which I did back in March, so I got that off the list. And I wanted to acquire two businesses, which I only acquired one, so I was short of one. And then host 10 meetups, which I completed. And so those are my goals. So I hit most of them, but I also fell short on a couple of them as well. So that's what I have on my phone every single. You guys can't see it, but every single time I look at my phone, and that's what I see.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's pretty good though.
That's not too bad. Yeah, yeah,
I did three like revenue goals,
yeah.
one like personal goal, and then one like business social media type goal. So for me, I had the revenue goals of the wholesale business. So we want to make at
Hmm.
least, 30K a month, and that's, after we split our equity payments between my partners.
Yeah.
We actually hit that. So we both make about 30 each a month.
Oh, that's good.
Coaching side, my goal was to hit 30K a month. We didn't hit that towards the end,
Hmm.
like you said, which is pretty awesome. The goals that I did not hit, because goals change over the
Yeah.
course of the year, which is fine. But I want to buy a assisted living.
Oh, right,
So
right,
yeah,
right.
so a home with, to house the elderly. That we had a goal of doing one together,
Yeah.
and halfway through the year, didn't I realized that I wasn't aligned with the partners that were, pursuing that, right? So I pulled myself out. And then the last goal was a personal one. Actually, I'm skipping one. The next one was, I wanted to start a business that wasn't in real estate, which
Oh,
we've then launched. It's the email servicing company.
but it's still in real estate technically.
Yeah, I know, it's like it was kind of not real estate, but
Yeah.
real estate.
It's a marketing
It's
company
a
basically.
marketing agency,
Yeah, yeah.
and then ultimately, we launched that a couple months ago. And then the personal one was, I wanted to travel to 10 different places.
Mm,
Um, I've only done like seven or eight,
like in
but pretty
state?
close. Yeah, like anywhere, just like
Anywhere. Okay.
leave, go somewhere that I haven't been to.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to hit 5,000 followers on Instagram, but that didn't work out either. So that's why I did all like the marketing
Oh,
stuff and all that. But we're at like 4,100, I think.
yeah.
So,
Nice.
but long story short is, for 2026, I think I'm gonna be very tactical with my goals this time.
Yep. That's
Certain revenue goals, where I want the businesses to be. And
mhm.
then really focus on personal stuff, like what type of person do I want to be.
Yeah. I
But
think it's
yeah,
a good goal because I think going into 2026, kind of how I like to think about it is like Obviously, business is just a game that no one can really win in the long term because everybody dies, right? I think the majority of what I'm looking to build is probably a new habit this time around. Like this year, I'm gonna build a new habit that emulates a successful person. Obviously, we'll have revenue goals, and then I'll have potential. I'll probably have real estate goals as personally buying certain real estate, like commercial property, and then I'll have relationship goals as well. And then travel, that's kind of up in the air. That's kind of like work-life balance. That kind of comes up here and there. But I personally believe I want to travel at least out of the country for a period of time, and then have that as one of the goals that I want to achieve. And I don't know how you think about goals. Like, is there how do you decide what goal that you want to achieve, or what you want to add and what you don't want to add in your life?
It's a lot of self. I mean, as corny as it is, but like
Hmm.
the last couple of days, what after this thing, I have the giant whiteboard in the office, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
gonna have to reflect on what we've done in the last year, and stuff that like what I feel like, man, I kind of wasted my time on that,
Oh yeah.
or what habits, if we're talking about habits, I'm gonna talk about the habits that that I feel like I reflected on in terms of like what I've been wasting my time on. Try not to doom scroll on social media. So I have
Yeah.
like this. So I have like the screen watch, stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to track, how much time I'm like looking at a computer, and then just things that like I feel like I really need to feel like I've accomplished something. So for me, like I hate to say it's like a money thing, but like revenue and how much money our companies are making, it kind of shows like that we are evolving as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Learning how to hire people, learning how to scale your businesses. That's what I want to do is like, so the revenue goal is like a very easy metric to see like, okay, there's some
Yeah.
growth. And I really believe like if your businesses are growing in terms of like revenue, you are growing as a person to be able to manage all that stuff or bring on the right or attract the right talent,
Yeah.
right?
You're
So I'm
gonna
trying to
have
fix
problems too as
myself.
well. You're gonna have
Yeah.
problems as you scale. You have problems, and those problems will teach you a lesson, and you'll grow from that lessons. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah,
But a
yeah,
lot of it is reflecting on what we've done in 2025 to see what I feel like needs to change for 2026. And I got to talk to my wife too. That there's goals that we have together as well.
oh yeah, that's true. I was gonna
So
ask, do you guys also do goal planning for as a couple?
I think this is the first year that we're probably gonna like do it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Because we were kind of like on our own, but now
yeah,
it's hey, there's a lot of things that you probably don't want me to do or sacrifice, right? So we got to figure out, what's going on. I wanted to quit my job in 2025, so that's a good thing. We're kicking
yeah.
that off in 26.
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier about reflection. I do this every single year. I have like towards this time of the year, like 30 to 31st, right before the new year happens, or when the new year happens, I do like a year retrospective. And what I do is I record myself and I look through my phone, and it brings back memories of what happened that year, or this current year. And that also like jogs up, oh, I should probably do this better. Oh, I should probably put that towards the front of the line instead of these other things. And I just kind of look at it in a simple way of like I look at relationships, business, personal growth, and where I want to go in my life. And I also just reflect on like how the year went total, like just in totality, and then kind of how I grew about that. So I definitely do that every single year. I record myself and I look back on the other videos that I did. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cringy, but I'm like, hey, it's just another thing.
That's growth, bro.
It's another
Yeah, I
freaking
mean,
thing.
you gotta go if you're not looking at your past,
Yeah,
how can you really figure out what was working, what was not? It's kind of like the calendar review, right?
yeah,
When you look at your calendar, you look at the meetings that you had.
hmm
I'll tell you like this year, I've taken way less meetings.
oh,
From I mean, we do a lot of meetings, but I'm talking
yeah,
about like I take a lot less like random networking calls and stuff like that because
yeah.
90% of that just goes nowhere in my opinion, or from my experience in
Yeah.
my last year.
90% is a good metric because that's
Yeah,
very true. That's very
yeah.
true.
You could talk to 100 people and you're gonna
Yeah.
do business with two to three of them, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather pack my calendar with sales calls, right? And that's, no, seriously, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I know. It's
so
good.
instead of me doing a networking call that like it's gonna be 45 minutes of my time, you
Yeah.
can do a sales call for 45 minutes and make, two, three, 10,000, right?
Dollars, yeah.
So that's where I see like my time allocations going, but wouldn't have really figured it out if I really didn't look at my calendar every week.
Yeah. I guess going into the new year, uh, how do you set the metrics of a revenue goal per se? Like, do you look at the past and then say, okay, I can do 50% more than what we end up doing this year? Or what's your thought process on that?
That's an interesting question. You know how I am with my calendar. I'm very,
Yeah.
particular with my calendar, and I think this year is going to be interesting because I will have a lot more time on my calendar available to do stuff.
Towards the end, right? Towards the end of the like Q4, right?
Yeah, so like I would probably say like May time frame of next year, so 2026 in May, I won't
Oh,
have
yeah, yeah.
a job, right? So
Oh, that's right. No, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of white space. So what I think is going to happen is I have to be very tactical with how much time I'm allocating to certain things.
yeah.
But if we can, like, we've had all these like successes in 2026 towards the last like 90
2025?
days.
You mean
Yeah, like
2025?
towards
Okay.
the end of this year, and it's like just mathematically, I'm like, dude, I can 3x anything I'm doing
Yeah.
just from the time. So I need to kind of look at like, how much time I have available where I can allocate those times
Hmm.
and you do that math equation of like,
Yeah.
hey, I make about, X amount of dollars per hour when I'm working.
Yep.
And I'm using that equation to kind of figure out what my revenue goals are going to be, and then I tack a little bit on, right?
Mm.
That's kind of how I do my math with
What
how
about
much money we can make.
what about vacation days? Do you tack that on? Because some
Ain't no,
people will
ain't
actually
no
plan their
vacation days.
vacation. They'll plan their quote unquote like travel days in their calendar first and foremost, right? Because that's like where the magic happens, in my opinion, not the mundane in the grass, in the weeds, working day in and day out and
Yeah,
kind of hating your life.
we we have a big trip every year around this time, the Christmas time
Oh,
frame,
okay.
but we do need to figure out, and that's where the wife and family thing comes into play,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Is
yeah.
like, hey, when do you think we can take a vacation? And we got to plan it now, right? Because some people plan their 6 7 months out now, right? Like we got to fly to Colorado in March.
Yeah.
Might as well just buy the flight now, right? You got to figure out where you're going, what you're doing, because when you start doing things on the fly, you're kind of chaotic. And like, I don't want my
Yeah.
businesses to be chaotic, so I got to get my personal stuff kind of lined up too.
Yeah, the goals in 2026 is going to be interesting because I'm going to have a lot of time reflecting on what I want to achieve. Because I'm actually, also doing a move too as well. So it's going to be very interesting in that particular case, while also managing the fix and flip business from afar and just passing down the reins to, my brother. So we'll see how that goes. I'm very interested in seeing how that's going to play out. And those kind of goals, you can't really like set as a hard target because it's gonna fluctuate, it's gonna change, and that's kind of also the game of life and business. You have to be
Yeah.
flexible in order for you to adapt. But I also want to make goals to where there are, I feel like in my mind, hard to achieve and like kind of far out there, which will also push me to be able to work harder and work smarter to be able to achieve at least like 80% of my goals. And
Yeah.
that's the dream for
I
me.
mean, like I believe in like the, shoot for the stars, you hit the moon
Yeah.
or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And that's a big thing and ultimately it's just staying focused. And I hate to say it all the time. It's like, so many people are all over the place, man.
I get it.
Yeah, all over the place, including myself. But like,
Yeah.
over the years, I've gotten more, focused in things that I want to do. But you know, the number one thing that I always hear from newer people is, I don't know what to do. I'm like doing this, and I'm like, okay, has any of these things made you any money? And he's like, this thing. Okay, like why aren't you doing this more? Like I hired that my acquisition manager like 6 months ago. We fired him
Yeah.
because I found out. Yeah, long story, but the dude had a transactional lending business with his wife. Meanwhile, he's cold calling, trying to close deals with me. And I'm like, have you ever done a lending deal? He's like, yeah, we've done like three or four. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, why aren't you doing that instead? And he's like, oh, I just didn't think about it. I thought I had the wholesale. I'm like, no, bro. Like, you already make money with one business. Why don't you both join forces and grow that, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that is like why you should talk to your partner, talk to your spouse, try to
Right.
figure out what the hell you guys want. Because that was like his shining moment of clarity,
Well, I
you
mean, I
know?
don't know if you've already talked about your wife already, but what do you feel like she can do in the business, or if you guys are talking about, or even consider that, or like, what's your game plan on that?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. Like we haven't
Yeah.
talked about that. I want to know. Like I got to know what she wants first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to be sucked into the universe that we're in, or do you want
Ha!
to do something on your own? It just you know,
Oh my
it's
God.
a tough world to be in,
Yeah.
like in our world sometimes, right? So,
Yeah, savage. Business is savage. That no one. It's not. Business is unfair. So if anybody thinks business is fair, they are delusional. Business is not fair. I can give you an example of this. Like, I was talking to one of our students today, and he thought a house could sell for 480, and come around. I did some comping, and another house sold as is for 450. It's like, dude, the
oh,
prices of yesterday is not prices of today. It's as simple as that. So you always have to be on your toes. You gotta be like a savage, basically. You just gotta be relentlessly on top of things in business, and that's a very that requires discipline. I mean, if you don't have discipline, then you really don't have much freedom. If you really think about it, I'm sure you guys heard the term Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom. And
yeah,
discipline is basically things that you don't want to do. You just do it anyways, right? Going to
I
the gym, you
agree.
like going to the gym. That's not discipline. Waking up at 5 a.m. because you want to wake up 5 a.m. That's not discipline. Like doing the things that you don't want to do, like I don't know, writing up a proposal. I mean, you don't want to do it. Doing comps where you don't want to do it. Calling a seller where you don't want to do it. You just do it anyways. That's discipline. So I think a lot of uh, a lot of the years that I've been doing this, like goal setting, requires discipline where I don't want to do it, and that has built a tolerance of just discipline and wanting to do it, whether your shitty mind says otherwise. So that's what I want to focus on when I go into the new year, building out new habits at the end of the day. And to the point of you and your wife, there's also a couple of cool like reels on like Instagram or YouTube where these two black couples, they go to like an office and they write down like their pillars on like family, vacation, work, and they write down what they want to achieve as a collaborative like meeting. I don't know if you guys would want to do that
Oh,
as well.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. We try to do the calendar review together. Oh my God. Like, we just started talking about random stuff and we're like, all right, this wasn't really productive, but um, I'm very curious what her goals are for this year is,
Yeah.
and I think like it's just I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Like I don't know what she wants to do.
Well, when I had a significant other, I we had a whiteboard and I wrote down different categories like family, travel, business, goals with each other, and then wrote down her schedule because she was working at the time. I know your wife is not currently working at the
Mm-hmm.
moment, but I think she's looking for a job, right?
Yep.
So I think that would be like really good to just write things out and just kind of put that within the calendar aspect of it, right? Traveling is towards the end of December, and then let's just say, we wanted to do maybe a mid-year travel, and you want to do this revenue goal, and then this is going to require time away from you, let's say 5 times a week, and then this is amount of hours I'm going to be putting in. So like basically writing that out and setting the expectation at the beginning of the year, it like really sets the
Yeah.
tone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I already told her, and she already knows too. Like the 2026 is gonna be wild for me. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like do or die. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like, we're saying goodbye to the salary. We're going full send on entrepreneurship. So it's like, all right, man, like we got to make this work, It's You may not see me for a couple of days in the office as I grind, but
Yeah.
it you got to figure it out. I mean, your partner, your family member, your loved ones need to understand or need to be on the same page, right? Because ultimately, if she was not cool with this, bro, like I'd probably still be working in the army, right? If she was like, I don't want you to do this, I don't want to put my family at risk.
Oh. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, big. I'm telling you, like for me, like a lot of
Okay.
people say, like, oh, how do you have the courage to do it? I'm like, well, unfortunately, I met her. Not unfortunately, but like I met her before I started all this.
Yeah.
So so then when I started all this stuff, she's been with me since the beginning. So if I had to talk with her and said like, hey, like, do you feel comfortable with me like quitting my job? And if she's like, no, you have to wait a little bit, I probably would have waited a little bit.
How how long is a little bit?
I don't know. We didn't really talk about that, but because she said send it. so so once she
Okay.
gave me the green light, I was like, all right, well if my wife says fuck it, like do it, that was my green light to be like,
Well,
see ya boss.
okay. All right. So that kind of goes into my next question. Like, as if I was like in your shoes, right? You have all these things cooking in the pot, and there's a lot of things that are going on right now. You have a business with me, you have your own business, and then we're about to buy the Belvedere. That's like three main things.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's not enough, or do you feel like you need to add another thing to it just to make sure that you
No,
cover meets in?
I think it's done for me.
Oh,
Um
yeah.
I think it's done for me because I think that if I added something else,
Yeah, you'll go insane.
well, not even that. It's just I don't think. I mean, I nobody has the ability to give 100% to
Yeah,
everything, and I think that anything that I started extra would actually hurt the other businesses. I
straight
think
up.
right now I'm like capped, right? Like this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it for me, and that's why quitting my job. I'm like, yo, it's
yeah,
done. Like,
yeah,
um, the property, hopefully, like luckily, isn't. It's not gonna be like active
yeah,
business where we're like grinding in it every day,
yeah,
and we can like offset it with the PM. Um, we have the community together, which kind of bleeds into the
yeah,
wholesale business.
yeah,
And I've told everybody, publicly, right? Like I'm telling everybody right now, it's like I'm not wholesaling 100K a month anymore. Like we don't care for that. Like we're
yeah.
not. Me and Jake both don't want to kill ourselves anymore, so we've shrunk our team. We do a ton of agent referrals. It's
Oh, yeah.
such an automated business for us, and we're okay with making 30, 40K a month. Like,
Who wouldn't be, right?
yeah,
I mean,
you
unless
know,
you're like really ultra rich, I totally get it. But
yeah, like anybody saying that like, you need to make 100K a month or $1 million a year, $2 million a year in wholesale, like why? Like I don't want to spend 30, 40 grand a month in ads, marketing. We live a very good life, and then our coaching program teaches that is like you
yeah,
don't need to kill yourself and grow massive businesses if you don't want to. And
yeah,
I like email marketing way more. So, and Jake runs that business with me too. So it's like if
yeah,
I can slow down the wholesale business, still show people that we still crush and we don't
yeah,
kill ourselves, I'd rather put my passion in growing this email shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, dude.
So
That sounds like the plan.
that's kind of how the energy is shifting for me of like, okay,
Yeah,
how do I give my utmost attention to all these businesses? Is, well, I'm going to slow down one significantly so I
yeah.
can, grow the other things. Because, dude, we're not Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just not built that way.
Right,
Like,
right.
simple as that, right? So what about you?
As far as what? As far as
Like,
like
so you got a lot
dividing
of
my
shit going on too.
yeah, dividing my attention. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I've realized this probably towards the quarter four of this year is that I need to start. Well, first and foremost, I'm selling a lot of my rental
Oh
portfolio,
yeah, we're
so I'm
doing
like
that too. Yeah.
downsizing on that, right? So it's great. I got like a $53,000 check today, which was amazing. It's a great win. So I sold my first rental that I ever bought in Richmond. That's gone. And then I'm kind of scaling down my fix and flip business because I want my brother to take over it and have him just make like home run hits. And so I'm just gonna be basically mentoring him. So it's not gonna take too much of my time. So the rental and fixing flipping is already down to like to where it's gonna be. Next thing I want to just be focusing on is curative investing, is basically buying tax delinquent property in Texas and then building out our communities together, right? So the coaching, that, and then the CRM that we have, and then just taking control of the Belvedere, making sure that is like a stable asset to where we can provide good cash flow for us. And then in the meantime, like gradually, probably towards the beginning of Q1 to Q2, find maybe another asset to queue up to purchase, a commercial asset that is, and then just working on those like three or four things, and that's all I want to
Yeah.
focus on, and just really get really good at those three or four things, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, no more small purchases for me. It's, I'd rather go for the one a year that is a banger of a deal.
Yeah.
Just like the Belvedere, we'll wrap this up. I still count this as 2025.
Uh,
So,
I
yeah.
count it as soon as we close.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about like the
Oh.
sourcing, the negotiating,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. This is a 2025
It
Herculean
is.
effort, and
It is.
then I would like to do something else in 2026. But yeah, for me, it's scale this new business to seven figures. Like that's
Yep.
like a benchmark that every entrepreneur has to achieve with a business. Seven figures, right? But
Yeah.
honestly, like I want to grow that. I want to grow this, and I want to park money into commercial deals.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I want to do. I'm just so sick and tired of these stupid houses. Like I have one that's going vacant next week. And I'm like, nah, I gotta go get a freaking tenant in this house, and I'm just like, make like
Well,
$500 a month off it. So
yeah,
I'm
I
just done.
think, dude, I think if we get this financing stack correct, dude, I think sky is the limit. Like once you prove a proving con or a theory into an actual concept, or not a concept into actual reality, then your mind like vastly does a mind shift. Like, oh my God, I can buy more of these. And with like little to no money out of pocket and provide equity for my investors and then have them make money and then have the cycle of reputation become bigger and bigger. So I'm like very excited if this closes, dude. I am gonna go wild as far as like buying asset classes that I actually want to buy in, and then raising the money to buy those asset classes, and then like, dude, I think I'm gonna retire off of like commercial real estate straight up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there are
Yeah,
people that make what like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in just cash flow on commercial assets. There's some big dogs, but I was talking to the lender today, that does this type of financing, and he was asking me these questions, and I was like, "Yo, let me just tell you, bro. Like, the seller is open to doing a silent partner potentially if you guys don't do the second lien, yada yada yada." And the lender is like, "Yo, can I like just tell you something real quick?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, you guys like are so professional. Like, thank you for
oh,
like actually talking to the seller about all these different options and coming to us with like the whole package." And he's like,
oh,
if this deal doesn't work, he's like, "Bro, I'll be way happy to loan on your other deals because like, dude, I'll tell you, man, we got these people that talk to us and they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't even know if the seller wants to carry a note." And they're like, "Well, why are you even calling us?"
yeah.
So in Maryland is getting crazy with that, the Baltimore fraud, with all that mortgage fraud. So a lot of
Oh,
lenders left. So that's what both of them were saying, was like, we need to call our brokers to see if our partners are back
wow.
in Baltimore. So
I see.
yeah, because remember when
Yeah.
Ben Zolas was talking about? He's like, "Oh, half my loans got frozen."
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly what's
Yeah.
happening.
It's wild, man. Cause dude, Baltimore is an interesting city. Interesting city. Very
It
very
is,
interesting.
man. Land of opportunity, though, I'll tell you.
America.
If you find the right deal, right?
And it's also kind of crazy how I feel like a lot of people don't understand what they're actually asking or how to structure a deal, which is fine. I mean, I get they're just naive. They don't know the what to ask or what to basically like negotiate on, which is fine. Um, and so like I also can relate to like lenders are like, wow, you actually know your stuff. I'm like, yeah, like it's I studied it. I like
We actually do stuff too, right?
yeah,
That's what I told him. Like,
yeah,
I
we
mean, we're not like goons, right? You know, but ultimately, we go back to goal setting, right? Sorry
Yeah.
about the big skew, but if you set a goal for, for 2026 or your future, just think about this: is if you set a goal, you need to think in your mind when you create this goal to kind of visualize what you need to do to achieve this goal, right? Just putting it on a piece of paper is one thing, or putting it on your little Canva design board is one thing. But you need to figure out like what you need to do in order to achieve that goal. So just saying that you want to buy an RV park or a 100-unit apartment complex is not going to just materialize over the next year because you put it on a board. You have to think about, who do I need to talk to? What programs do I need to join? Who do I need to network with? I gotta talk to how many brokers do you have to talk to, right, in order to find an opportunity for you? And there's so many little micro actions that you have to do, but you don't need to think about all of it. But you need to understand what the big muscle movers are that's going to help you move towards that goal.
Mhm.
And as you start planning out your goals, and you have six different things that are just all over the place, do you honestly think that you're going to achieve one or any of them? If they're just
Yeah.
all over the place, there's no synergy, there's no thought process, you just wanted to make $10 million in 2026, just you have to be realistic, right? And you have to figure out what you need to actually do to achieve that goal, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
And that makes sense. Yeah. I would
yeah.
also add, what are the habits that you need to create or acquire to be able to do that? So if you need to talk to a whole bunch of brokers and you feel like you don't want to talk to brokers for whatever reason, you have resistance, you just have that like wall that you don't want to push through, then have like a visual effect for you. I heard this on another podcast where somebody had like a jar of like paper clips, and they had another jar, empty jar, and they just moved one paper clip over to the next, and they started calling. Like as soon as they called
Oh,
somebody, they just moved the paper clip over. So they tried to get the whole jar of paper clips onto the other jar. So that way you're just staring at this particular jar that's empty
it's
that
like
you need to move those.
visualizing.
It's visualizing it. And so now your main focus is just moving the paper clips to one jar to another jar, right? That's one
Hmm.
example. Now, another example is basically, if let's say you're a writer, for example, and you have a writer's block or whatever, you just do the first step. Just write down the first sentence or maybe the title of the book or whatever you're writing, and then just leave it open, and then just go do something else. Because then
Yeah.
that's the first step is always the hardest. And then after a while, maybe a few hours later, maybe the next day later, you start adding on to that and start adding on to that. And so, you know, 30 days later, you'll have maybe like a whole 5 pages written out. You're like, holy shit, this is crazy. So just baby steps are always the best. And those are like the little habits that you can pick up and prime yourself to be able to do those actions. And then I would also add, your environment plays a huge role of whether you're productive or not. If you're at
Yeah.
home and you're unproductive slob, then just go somewhere else. Go to a cafe, go to a library, go somewhere, go like a WeWorks, and that way you can actually become more productive.
Yo, what's actually hilarious that you brought that up is you do know I have to go to a coffee shop, right? Like
Oh
that's
yeah, I
where
know.
I'm. Yeah. So what he's explaining is like exactly like what I am like at home. Like if I'm not on a Zoom or like recording something, I can't do anything. Like I will work on 10 seconds of work on my home computer, and I'll just walk outside and like grab food, talk to my wife, and just walk around on my phone. Like, and then like people will call me, and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's no focus like when I'm home. So I leave and go to a coffee shop for like
Hmm.
5 6 hours. Like the coffee shop people know, like when I show up on Saturday, like Saturday is like where my income like truly shoots up every Saturday because I come in at 9 in the morning and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" Like I'm like, "Just keep them coming, man," and I'll be here for
Yeah.
6 hours. Like I'll put on these headphones, work for 6 hours, utmost focus, and then I come back and I just not productive anymore. It's just crazy, man. I
Mm,
have to leave my house in order to get stuff done.
yeah.
Um,
I'm not
so you got to
that
figure that
way.
out.
It's crazy. Yeah. I'm not that way, but I feel like, well, like to give you an example, yes, like I also feel the productiveness once I go somewhere else, like maybe like like a WeWork setting, I'm like even more productive. But at home, like I can get relatively productive because of the pressure that I put on myself to complete a certain task.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Man, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was man, it's
What, coffee shops? About
No, no, it's about goal setting. Like, okay, I know people that set goals, right? Of, oh, I want to read 24 books in a year or 12
uh-huh.
books a year. And I'll tell you, like, reading books doesn't necessarily help you out if you
Yep.
don't implement it.
Yep.
So, like, really, if you want to have a book goal, like, say that you want to read a book a quarter, and then you read a book on that first month and you want to implement whatever the hell you learned, like, the next two
Mm-hmm.
months. Because there are people that read 24 books a year about, like, self help, health and wellness, finance, investing. And those are the people, bro, I tell you, that do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You're spending way too much time reading about creative finance and actually like getting on the phone and negotiating a creative finance deal, right?
Yeah. And I think to add to that, humans are very forgetful creatures. So we have to constantly be reminded of these lessons that we've learned. And so, like, yeah, to your point, read, then implement. It's like really simple. Just like read maybe a paragraph that's really valuable to you, and then just implement that, and then come back and read the book. That's what
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy did. He just read one freaking book, and he just implemented it until he was a master at it, and then he moved on to the next book. Just
So
super simple.
yeah, and like Lee is like, yeah, man, I have to go to a coffee shop too. It's like, there's just something about going to a hipster coffee shop and drinking some coffee to
It's
really
a
get your day
matcha.
going. You know what I'm saying? That's just real
Some,
something else to it. But no,
yeah.
but honestly, guys, super important to set your goals, visualize what you
Yeah.
truly want, because if you don't tell people or tell yourself, most importantly, what you want, how can you expect anything good to happen, right?
Yeah.
If you're not figuring out what you want to achieve, and that's the big thing is it's not like saying like tell the universe, but like it is kind of telling the universe. You gotta figure out what you want for yourself, and you gotta put that shit on paper. So
Yep.
excited for this year
One.
for the both of us and for all of us.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. We're gonna become a millionaire, bro. Again.
Millionaire on paper, but
Yeah.
we're going liquid this year. That's 2026,
Yeah,
bro.
you're on liquid, bro.
Yeah. No, I love you guys. Appreciate it, and have a great New Year's. Right,
Yeah,
we're
man.
a couple days away from New Year's, so guys, enjoy yourselves. Be safe,
Yeah.
and we'll see you guys on 2026.
Peace.